Cool, I'm ready.
All right, let's go for it.
All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Elite Chandler Podcast. We talk about commercial finance and everything that is in between. Today we have an amazing guest speaker with us, Mr. Brent Archie, and I don't want to take away from any of the great things he's going to share. So, Brent, real quick, can you introduce yourself to all the audience?
All right. Greetings, everybody. My name is Brent Archie. I am a serial entrepreneur, but my biggest flagship business right now is Archie Services. We're a government supply company that specializes in office, medical, and janitorial supply. But I do also dabble in a couple other areas as well. I'm a laundromat as well as a rental property owner, and just happy to be here.
Awesome. All right, so Brent, like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be just men talking, or men and women, right? Just guys talking at the bar, and we're talking about business, right? So, right. First and foremost, man, I want to learn about from your perspective, what was it like purchasing your laundromat?
Okay.
Your first laundromat.
Yeah, so my first laundromat, it was kind of a, it was one of those situations where you're just trying to, I recently went fishing on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and I'd almost alluded to fishing, like you're trying to make the big catch, and you're just putting in offers. I probably put in, myself and my business partner probably put in like 15, 20 offers, and for whatever reason, things just kept falling apart. Some people, they got sentimental about the business, and they were thinking it was worth more than it's actually going on. I mean, they have like half the machines are broken, and they don't even have books on some of this stuff. So you're looking at like trying to take over a business that has no financial information, and from what you can see, everything's broken, and they still want way over their original asking price. And it just gets to a point where you just got to realize, you can't fall in love with any of these deals. If the numbers don't make sense, just get out of there. But ultimately, we found one opportunity. It's up in Manassas, Virginia. And all the numbers worked. The owner was just looking to get out, and we had the cash for it. So we were able to close on it within, I think, about a week. We had to get the lawyers involved and everything like that. But we just went with we use a local area broker as well. So I'd recommend that if any of the listeners are looking for a laundromat for themselves, just look for a local business broker, because they'll find you like the off-market deals, because the stuff that gets advertised on LoopNet and all these other places is already getting snatched up probably while it's getting posted. So it's really best to just try to work with someone who knows the area and who knows a bunch of these owners and can make a deal on your behalf if you're really serious about closing. And then another thing I'd recommend is also just introducing yourself to different laundromat owners. And if you can, get the opportunity to work in one, just to understand the business before you actually hop in it by yourself. Because, I mean, it's better to learn on somebody else's dime than your own. So, but as far as my actual deal, like I said, it's up in Manassas, Virginia. We were able to do an owner finance deal, so we didn't have to expend all our cash while we were trying to make sure the machines work and getting everything repaired, and learning kind of the ropes of, owning a laundromat. But we bought it in the end of April, early May. And in that time frame, we've been able to, from that time frame to now, which is mid-June or whatever, we've been able to increase sales about 30%. And the only reason we know that is just based off of we did have one employee that came over and kept working with us, and she's like, I've just never seen it this busy before. Oh my goodness. And I mean, that's a good feeling. Like, because you're wondering like what's working, what's not, because we didn't get any real solid finances other than a couple loose bank statements and things like that. So just to hear her, feeling like she's constantly busy, it's a wonderful feeling. And just empowering her to kind of have ownership in the business as well. and just motivating people to, get the best out of them and make everybody reach their own personal excellence. So.
Wow.
That's good. That's good. Quick, a few questions, right? So anyone who's listening, people, and I hate that people have this mindset. People think that they watch a movie and someone says, yeah, I bought a business, or even, hey, I bought real estate. And people, for some reason, think that means that someone has to wire a full amount to purchase something, right? And what I want people to understand, and when Hank and I talk to the analysts about this all the time, 80% of business deals are done with some type of creativity or financing. Even with large deals, on Wall Street, those aren't all cash. A lot of those are stock options, different types of buyouts, earnouts, money over time, different types of contracts, licensings involved. It's not just, hey, here's cash, give me your business. And so, Brent, can you echo to everyone else who's listening why it doesn't make financial sense for someone to pay all cash for a business?
Yeah. So to your point, being a good business person just really means being as creative as you can to get whatever your objective done is. So, I mean, there are people that'll blow a wad of cash on one project, and then they'll get into it and realize, oh, I still need money to actually operate. I need money to do all these other things. And honestly, that's why I never ever, in any deal I ever do, I never just plop down the full asking amount, because it's you're gonna run into issues that are gonna overrun. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you bought a new Rolls Royce. Something's gonna happen. You're gonna get a nail in a tire. That tire is gonna cost like 5 G's that you weren't thinking about. So, I mean, you always got to plan for your rainy days, and that's why I just recommend to anybody, just be as creative as you can, and know your numbers, and don't ever. I don't care what it is. If it's pots of gold or whatever, just if the numbers don't make sense, the deal's not there. And some people get caught up in the love or the enthusiasm of, oh, I'm closing on this. I can take pictures for whatever social media they might be on or whatever. But at the end of the day, a week later, once you got all your likes and hearts or whatever, you still have to manage this thing. You still have to go there and try to figure out how to make all this work. And now you got even less resources to pull from. So at the end of the day, it would behoove you to save as much of your capital as you can. And if you can pay the other owner off, some lump sum at a later date, then do that once it's coming out of the business and not from your original pot of money. Because my other overall strategy with money is just never spend your principal, always spend your interest. So if you don't have to, go into your deep coffers, go into your couch money or whatever you want to call it, and blow it all on whatever opportunity presented itself, then do that. Just save your resources the best you can, because other things will pop up that might be even better. So, I hope that kind of answers your question.
No, that's great, because some of the things that I don't think people think about is, if a business is profitable and if a business is as valuable as the seller claims that it is, then the business itself should be able to sustain what they're asking for.
Right.
And the best way to do that is okay, prove it. Let's prove it. Let's prove that theory.
Let me test drive it for you. Yeah, let me test drive and see if these numbers were real or not.
What I got out, Brent, this is Hank. What I got out of what you just said, I'm just sitting here just saw kind of noodling things in it, and what came to mind was, never wait for the perfect moment. Just take a moment and make it perfect. So you were doing due diligence. You did not let the shiny object syndrome distort your pursuit of excellence or pursuit of owning this business.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, that's absolutely correct. Because we went up there, or I had my business partner go up there, check it out a few times prior to us closing within that week, and making sure making checklists of what's up, what's now, what's not working, where's the special door over here, what does what. and really just trying to make sure we know all the ins and outs of what's going on before we're signing over the amounts that we did. But yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Do your due diligence. I mean, it's like anything, buying a car, buying a house, whatever. You know, I bought houses sight unseen before, but I'd recommend doing full inspections, looking around at everything that's going on in there, because you can end up with a lemon real quick. So, I mean,
Brent, do you have a coach or a mentor, or this has just been trial and error?
I'm more of a trial and error kind of guy. I mean, over the years, I kind of just listen to different people, and I look at the world kind of a la carte. Like no single person's mindset that's come before me might be applicable to what events I might experience.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'll pick and choose what different people say and mold it to my own recipe for success, I guess.
Right. But one thing I want to say in reference to Brent, and for those who are listening, may not know, Brent and I went to college together. And one thing I will say is that Brent takes action. There are a lot of people who will listen to something, watch something, read something, look at something, and never take action. You had mentioned that you were one seeking out that opportunity. You had decided what you wanted to purchase, and you went to find that. You mentioned that you had put in more than one offer, right, into different types of businesses. So that meant that you were having to do due diligence on your, on your own, or learning to be due diligent. You were having to do negotiations by submitting those offers, and justifying why you wanted that offer price. You then had to structure the deal, right? And that takes guts and that takes creativity, because a lot of people are so darn boring in their finances, they don't even dare dream of creativity. It's like you talk about structuring the deal, and the only thing they can fathom is paying cash for something, and that's not how the real world works. Another thing is that most people would immediately run to the opportunity of getting an SBA loan. That is like what most people think of, hands down. Can I qualify for an SBA loan?
Right. And I guess for me, I still never have gone for traditional levels of financing to get this done. I've been able to either crowdfund from friends or family or stuff of that nature, or just roll money from other projects into bigger projects, and it's paid off for me. But I'm in a weird area, I guess, as an entrepreneur. Like I'm doing financially very well, but for whatever reason, banking and lending institutions, they still look at me like, okay, what are you really, or what is this? And so I guess I'm at a point where I have the freedom where I can finance pretty much anything I want to do in life. But I also understand the power of other people's money as well. So just using those two tools has helped me continue on my own line of success. Because, I mean, I understand this whole past year they've been handing out SBA, PPP loans and all this stuff like candy. But in traditional times, I don't know, like even 2-3 years ago, trying to get an SBA loan, you had to know the cure for cancer and how to bring a dinosaur back to life. Like it was hectic. So I just don't know. Before these past 2 years, I don't know anyone that actually had secured a SBA loan prior to these times. So
they make it sound easy on the front end,
right?
But that sausage making, boy, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
when you're talking about the deal, how do you overcome? Are there tools that you use to overcome the seller's attachment to something overvalued, or their emotionalism? This is my baby. I started from ground zero. How do you break through some of that? You feel me?
Yes. So the majority of the time, you get to a point where you're just you just reemphasize like, hey, we know you're getting a portion of what you wanted right now, but just think of it, a year from now, you're going to get a larger check, or 2 years from now. And that kind of helps soothe the situation a bit. Okay. Just reiterating that they are getting their full payment. Because, I mean, a lot of people, their spending habits, if they got a large chunk of money, they might blow through that in a few months. But to know, like, okay, in the back of my head, I might have another $100,000 coming, or whatever the number is, you know, that's pretty enlightening. Like, you know, it's just knowing that that's running in the background while the deal is getting funded and everything of that nature. So I think the money is the bigger motivator in the grand scheme of things, because it helps reiterate, hey, we're serious. Here's some money up front to show that we are serious. But at the same time, you will get a large payment after we can prove the concept of what the business that you sold us is.
Right. And Hank and I had a meeting earlier with some of the analysts, and we were telling them that, hey, we said this more than once. Listen, anyone who takes a lump sum of money is an idiot.
Right.
Anyone who takes a lump sum of money, and the reason why is because the way that you're taxed is crazy. Yeah. And it's like, why would you want that? I said the wisest thing for someone to do is you want payments over time. You want royalty. You want cash flow. You want income that's going to be passive. It's going to be taxed differently. Long term. If you sell your business right now, you get a lump sum. The next thing you're going to do, if you're smart, is you're thinking, oh hell, where can I put this money so that it can actually feed me or pay me monthly or pay me bi-weekly, right? Because that asset that was doing that is now gone. It's like,
right.
You want to have an asset that's paying you passively. I don't care what it is. Business, real estate, it doesn't matter. If it's paying you passively, it's going to be taxed significantly less than if you just sell something at one event, or if you get a wage. You know, salaries are taxed differently too. So anyone who takes lump sums, I mean, you're an idiot, or you're probably just desperate. That's honestly how I put it.
Hey, you just cut straight to the chase on that one, my friend. But you know what? But at the end of the day, this is big boy talk, or big person talk. Okay,
right?
Because there are people who, again, I guess it was a couple of years ago. I was at a conference, and someone was saying something, and again, I'm a quotes guy. He says, paraphrasing, he says, there are 3 C's in life: choices, chances, and change. You must make a choice to take a chance if you want anything to change. And I say that to say that a lot of people who talk about, well, I want to do this and I want to do that, and they've been wanting to do something for 25 years. They have to change the one to I'm gonna do something. You have a goal, you develop the strategy, and then you follow the plan. And they just they want to get rich quick, and they don't want to spend the time to learn how to do it so that their money will outlast them.
Yeah.
Exactly. And and in those situations, when I run into entrepreneurs that are, or pre-entrepreneurs, I guess, that do have these lifetime long goals that they've been putting together, I'm like, look, as soon as the rubber hits the road, you're gonna find out your plan got holes all in it. So it doesn't. you can wait your 25 years just to realize that you got to make some changes. But I mean, everybody, you know, it's that whole ugly baby thing. Like, you don't want to tell anybody their baby's not, you know, up to par or whatever, because, you know, they've been working on it. That's their mentality the whole time until, you know, it's picture day.
Come on, Brent. You know, and you got a cute baby.
You know, they can only apply so many filters to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can only.
You said TikTok.
So that's.
and one thing I want to highlight before we go to the next subject is what do you say to people who are afraid to invest, to purchase, to acquire, to build, to add to their portfolio, things that are outside of their neighborhood?
Interesting.
Hey, well, I tell people, like, look, man, at the end of the day, hey, fear can detract you from doing a whole lot of stuff. So, if you're not comfortable doing something in life, just go find, you live your comfortable life, go be, but at the same time, when your friends and everybody else is moving on, don't ask any questions. Mm-hmm. So that's just a trade-off they gotta make with, themselves. Cause that's the other thing, you start getting into stuff and if you're moving in fear, it's gonna make you falter. You're not making the right decisions because you're always afraid of failure and stuff. But the way I look at business is just like dating, right? Like at the end of the day, if I walk up to some woman I'm trying to approach or whatever, and I'm scared to approach her and I'm all timid and stuff, chances are it's not gonna work out. I mean, hey, I'm a good looking guy, I think, but if I roll up and I'm stuttering and oh man, I hope she gives me a chance. No, nobody wants that. But if you roll up in there and you have half of some confidence about yourself and you think you know what you're gonna do, you'll figure it out from there. She'll probably give you a chance. So that's the way I look at stuff. Like,
she'll tell you,
don't be afraid for the rest of your life. Right, this ain't for you. But I mean, at the same time, like, the only way you'll know is if you go out there and try. So
yeah,
and I'm gonna try, I guess.
There you go, shoot my shot.
Right. Hey, worst she can say is no. So, and then after that point, once she says no, I mean, people make bad choices all the time. So once she passed up on, her $1 million opportunity with me, hey, don't come knocking on my door 5 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Too late.
Hey,
I'm an investment.
Right. You had your chance. Right.
And you said the operative word, chance. Because opportunities are abound, but a lot of people don't know what an opportunity looks like because they've been preconditioned to think that it's a Mercedes or a BMW or a 5,000 square foot house or what have you. They've got these lofty ideas as to what an opportunity looks like or what success looks like. And Leland, when we were talking this morning about doctors, and when you let the interns know about the hurdle, the stranglehold that their circumstances have on them, meaning the doctors, the interns were just, I mean, they were in disbelief.
Yeah.
The facades of life that we have to go through. Man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sad, but the thing is, if something stretches you out of your comfort zone, that means you're growing. That's all that means. So, for example, if Brent, for example, lives in North Carolina, but he's purchasing a business that lives in Virginia, that doesn't mean that he's a bad person or that he's taking too much risk. If anything, that just means that he's stretching his paradigm. Because now what that embodies is, once he perfects that process and he perfects that system, what can he then do? He can then have one in Florida. He could then have one in South Carolina. He could then have one in California, because that's a system that has been replicated and has been proven. But if someone is too afraid to invest out of the comfort zone because it's not down the street, or they can't go and look at it, they can't check on the premises, they can't verify when the employees check in, those kind of things, that type of fear, like Brent said, it immobilizes you. You can't move. So anyone who's listening to this, if you've been in that type of cycle, get out. And I know that one of the things, and we'll talk about education after we talk about the military. One of the things that education can do is that education can paralyze people. It can paralyze the thought process, because even the deals on Main Street and deals on Wall Street, they're done creatively. But you look in a textbook about buying a business, about buying real estate, there's like no creativity used. As a matter of fact, you talk to the average real estate agent just for buying a property, investment property, they want you to, put down 50%, 20%, whatever, And in their mind, that's the only way that deal is going to get done.
Right.
So, Brent, can you touch on the experience and/or importance of military for you?
Oh yeah, sure thing. So yeah, I'm a U.S. Coast Guard veteran. I did 6.5 years in the Coast Guard, and it was very enlightening. I mean, I'm in charge of, what was I, 22, 23. There were times where I'm in charge of an entire ship, and I've got all these people's lives on the line, and you're just like, it just propels you into responsibility. And I can't think of any, like I was saying earlier, I can't think of any other position on this planet where somebody at such a young age has, I have more authority at some given points. I was a DCA, which is a damage control assistant, which is like I handle any fire, flooding, any large scale mishaps that might happen on the ship. If an engine blows out and catches on fire, like I'm the guy that's handling what to do in those scenarios. And my goal is basically to try to get everybody home safe. So just being propelled and having to know, I have to know my stuff to a level that not only completes the mission objective, but also keeps everybody in a calm mood enough to get the job done, whatever we're going through, if we're flooding or if we're doing anything like that. So I was on a 378-foot cutter, which is one of the larger ships in the Coast Guard. And I used to do patrols down in South America. And most of the time we're doing either drug interdiction or we're doing maritime seamanship and stewardship, where you're saving people who fell off of cruise ships, or if there's a large scale of migrants that might be on a boat, but it's not safe because they overloaded it and it's about to flip over in the ocean. You're trying to rescue them. So, you feel like a good sense of the mission, but some of the stuff you see out there is just hilarious. Like I almost laugh at rappers whenever they're talking about bricks of coke, because I guarantee I've seen more cocaine than they can even think about rapping about. And it's weird because on some of these boats out there, they'll just throw a blanket over it, and you're like, dude, what are y'all doing? Like, just throw a blanket over about $100 million worth of cocaine? Like, what's going on here, boys? Like, what is this? So, but when you're doing the mission, you're realizing, like, those guys aren't really the drug dealers by any means. They might have been held up for whatever by the real cartels, and seeing kind of what I don't know, maybe their families are in danger, things like that. So you just return them back to their country with everything and then hope for the best. But it's interesting, man. Like, you're out there, open ocean, and then you just see a guy with a blanket over a bunch of bricks of coke, and you're just like, all right, bro, like, what is this? So, but bigger than that, like I said, the military just gives you so many experiences and opportunities to travel on somebody else's dime, and the professionalism and skills that you get are insurmountable compared to I don't know, I can't really think of any of my peers that get the same recognition of that you get as a veteran in this country, and it just helps propel you in anything you want to do. So, like, even right now, I'm going back to school for an MBA, and the VA is helping pay for it. And a lot of people have to pay out of pocket or try to get creative on financing it. My whole mentality with school in general was like, look, y'all gave me K through 12 for free. I'm not paying now. So whatever I got to do to keep rolling through, that's what I'm going to do. So, and kind of touching on, I guess, not new categories, but yeah, same thing that happened when I went to A&T. Like, when I first showed up as a freshman, all they had to offer me was a $3,000 loan to get through undergrad, or that first semester, whatever. And by the time I graduated, the only thing I owed was about $126, $156 or something like that for a parking ticket, because I had about 7 or 10 cars on campus, and I was getting parking tickets because I was running out of places to park them. So it was crazy times, man. But like I said, it just gives you so many more opportunities, just opening your mind up and trying different experiences And I tell anybody that's able to just go to the military, try it out, and just get your honorable discharge and get on with your life. Like, and if you want to make a career, you can do that too. But I just didn't go that route. So
I did 26 years as an Army finance guy.
oh.
And you're right. I tell young people today, you have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. It's just perspective. You have to look at it a little bit differently, because there's nothing to lose. The upside is tenfold.
Exactly. And I was in pretty good shape before boot camp, but when I came out, I was ready for both legs. Like, yo, grease me up. I'm ready. I had like an 8-pack. I was like, who wouldn't want this? A free 8-pack? Sure.
You say you were almost bulletproof?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bullets be scared of me, man. Like, yo, I said, whoa, who is this guy? When I looked in the mirror, I was like, my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, and the thing is, like, they give you real life, life skills too. Like, there's a lot of people that don't know how to swim. They'll work with you through that. If you have weaknesses in other proficient areas, whatever, they'll work with you. So you really have nothing to lose and everything in the game by going. And you start establishing yourself. Even just going through the Coast Guard, the program I went through was called C-Spy. And basically what you do is you go to boot camp between your sophomore year of school and your junior year. And when you come back, you're getting full E3 pay. So you're getting like $2,600. And this is back in 2010, 2011, whatever. While you're still on campus, just doing your thing. You might have to do some recruiting fairs and just keep your weight in check. But other than that, I can't think of any other college situation where you're making that. Just going to class. $2,600 a month, and then you still get full benefits and everything. And then your time in school counts towards retirement too. So I don't know. That was the best thing smoking. I saw something with Navy though, but I didn't want to end up on a sub, but that's a whole nother story. So I'll do a ship all day.
Brent, as you reflect back over your trials and tribulations, your successes, your failures, or what have you, what are a couple rewarding, refreshing what ifs that you'd be willing to share with people today?
Sure. So I'd say I'll start with this. I'll say like some of my biggest failures is when I'm trying to do too many things. And I've learned over time, it's better to have like sniper precision than a shotgun approach to things. Mm-hmm. Even though I might have multiple projects going on, I tend to leave people in charge of them and then kind of check in on them from time to time versus trying to do everything myself. Just relinquishing overall. I know a lot of people like to have their hands in everything and try to grasp everything that's actually going on. Mm-hmm. But once you start getting big, you can't, there's no way to, I don't know. There's no way that I know personally I can manage 20 different things personally. Mm-hmm. Now, if I have 20 different people in place that I respect and trust, getting things done for me, we're a more effective unit.
Yes.
So just delegating items out to different people that are competent enough to do the job and empower them to use their best skills for mission excellence. Bam, that's gold. Because I realized the first couple years when I had my tax office, I would try to do a lot of the stuff myself, and I was like, wait a minute, I got all these employees. Some of y'all can step up or let me see what y'all's real abilities are. You guys say you can do X, Y, Z. Let's see. Mm-hmm. And some people, they'll disappoint you, but others, they'll rise to the occasion and exceed what you even thought you could do. So. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the bigger ones. Another one, going back to my tax office situation, is also just making sure that you do follow up and check in, trust and verify as much as you can. If you even think you got an inkling of a question or something, go ahead and ask them. You're not intruding. It's your business. Like, some people will be timid about asking people what's going on with their own situation, and then they'll let their whole operation burn down just because they didn't get clarification on what was going on. But I think that was the bigger one for myself. Other than that, yeah, if you got an idea, just, go for it.
A personal question. In all of your entrepreneurial endeavors, how many close friends or relatives do you have working for you?
Oh,
that's a loaded question now.
I really only have about one close friend working with me, and family members. No, I don't really entangle myself with those situations, because people start thinking that they I don't know, they get special preferences and stuff. And then that's my also number one rule too. Like, I know a lot of people that are business owners start thinking they can mess around with the help. But I'm like, look, there's enough legs out here outside of my operation to keep me warm at night. I just never did that.
You didn't say that.
That's a smart man. You don't want to do that. If anyone doesn't agree, they can ask Bill Gates.
Hey,
whoa, that was I'm listen, Brett. I'm with you. I'm sitting here and I'm saying, you know what? This man you're laying it on the line, as they say. What, you cutting to the chase?
Oh yeah.
But I asked that loaded question only because all too often we find people who are small business owners, and I don't know the size of your business, so I don't mean to try to insinuate anything, but they hire close friends or relatives to work in their business, and money's coming in the front door, they're making it, but something's going out the back door, the side door, the basement, the windows, and all this other stuff, and they can't understand what's up. And then they won't fire anybody because they,
right.
Whew, Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and that's my thing too. I am still a small business across all the different projects that I am operating in, but the revenue, like for instance, in this last 12 months or whatever, we've been able to do about $5 million worth of sales. So, I mean, yeah, we don't have the employee strength, but we got the sales strength. So, but I just say that to say, like, even when I did have a lot of employees, what I realized is you got to be quick to fire and slow to hire. Like, for me, I'm always open to take applications, but at the same time, if somebody's, throwing off the morale of the rest of the group, or coming in and throwing off what our overall mission is, or just not looking the part or something like that, and we've already consistently talked to them about the issue, then hey, it's time for you to find, employment elsewhere. Like, you can't comply with the rule. I mean, I've had people who are making, my name is on their check and they think they run stuff. And I'm like, you gotta be, I want some of what they smoke. Like, I just want to know. Right. I'm like, what atmosphere, what
out of the blanket.
Right. Like, my name is on your check and you're telling me how to run this. Okay, but you ain't got if I take my check back, you ain't got 2 cents to rub together. What are we talking about? So, like, it just gets interesting real fast. But yeah, you just gotta at the end of the day, it's your situation, and you just gotta let people know, hey, this is what I tolerate. This is what I don't, and they can take it or leave it. And I mean, yeah, people have, hindrances, disabilities, things like that. I've worked through it.
Right.
And those have been some of the best employees I've had. But I at the same time, I don't accept some lackluster performance. I'm not paying you lackluster dollars. I'm not paying you a portion of your paycheck, so don't give me a portion of your effort,
I love it.
I like this is straight talk, because a bad employee is not like a fine wine or a rare cheese.
Right.
Like, man, you got to cut your losses quick.
Right, for real.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm like, I mean, if you went out to eat and you were getting bad service the whole night, are you gonna leave a big tip? No, you're gonna cut them off. You probably tell your friends, hey, don't go over there. Like you're gonna write a bad review. So treat your business the same way. If you get bad employee, go ahead and tell them what it is and get them up out of there. So, but yeah, for whatever reason, people are afraid to pull that trigger. So whatever.
Brent, real quick before we conclude, can you tell everyone? You had mentioned sports and park picnic areas. Can you tell everyone the greatness behind that?
Oh yeah. So just what the beginning part, or because as far as like the sport contract, the very first one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Whichever you want to disclose.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll just give a quick intro into how I got into everything. So again, I do government contracting, and I tell people, like, yes, it's very lucrative. It's kind of like the movie War Dogs. I'm not selling ammunition, but I sell office supplies. So, and that's another thing I tell people too. Like, what do you think the global market on cocaine is? Either one of y'all.
What, a dollar amount?
I'm thinking about 900 trillion.
Okay, well, not quite that. It's about, last time I checked off a stat sheet or whatever, it was about $140, $150 billion business, right?
Yeah.
And with that, I tell people, like, what do you think it is for office supplies? And most people aren't even thinking about it. And I'm like, it's about 300 billion. And I'm like, look, if I can sell this pen to somebody and I don't have to look over my back and worry about getting, taken out this world, hey, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. And my profit, I can live comfortably. I got about 6 cars. I'm about 4 houses. Like I'm doing all right. And I'm like, look, I'm not worried about getting, beat over the head by Johnny Law or, another dealer out here. And at the same time, I'm able to, support my family and make a living. But I just say all to say, I got started in this whole thing off of a sport contract down in Miami. And a lot of people got to understand, like, when you get into business, everything is not going to be a home run. You got to do a couple base hits. Shit, you might get thrown out sometime. But, you got to walk up and approach the plate. So my first contract was about $6,700, and I ended up taking a $100 loss, but it got me in the game of building some past performance. And I kind of looked at it like a marketing budget or a marketing line, taking a loss on that first one. But I mean, from doing that bid back in, like I said, I think 2017 or so, to now I'm selling the voter registration pins to an entire state, moving over 6 million units. Like, you can't tell me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all you got to do is get out here and try. There's nothing, I'm not greater than anybody. I'm not smarter than the world. I'm not faster or got well connected. I went to Smith High School in the middle of Greensboro, like, where people they already write you off once you say you from there. And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I'm over here, trying to collect reparations. Like, I'm like, look, if they're not going to give it to me, I'm going to take it, So that's kind of my mentality in life, is just keep out here, keep grinding, keep trying different situations. Because for every success I've had, I probably had 15 failures, and it just comes with the territory. And I guess I would just leave it at that. In the grand scheme of things, is just to any of the listeners out there, just get out and try. Just go ahead and put the rubber to the road. And, if you hit some potholes, cool. Next time you're going down that road, you're going to know how to navigate around them, So I'll just leave it at that.
I bet.
What I heard you say is falling down is an accident, but staying down is a choice. So the point is, John Maxwell puts it this way. He said, when you fall down, he said, don't be too quick to stand up. He said, but pick up something on the way when you stand back up. Because the winner is the one who gets back up, not the one who gets knocked down. So this is interesting. I'm from Virginia, so I see now that I'm gonna have to come to Greensboro, North Carolina. North Carolina.
I love it.
Come on through, and we'll show you some Aggie pride. Get you some gear or something, so you can rock the right brand.
Okay.
Take those VSU whoopings.
I said when I was in college, I've learned a few things since then. I give the lessons now.
So for everyone who's listening, all right. First and foremost, if you don't know Brent Archie, now you know. And if you're trying to figure out, what's next, so if you want to get in contact with Brent, please do so. Brent, is there anywhere you want them to go, or I guess email or things like that, a website that you may want people to follow you, or social media, stuff like that?
Yeah, you can check me out at well, if you need my email or whatnot, check me out at brent@archieservices.com. And I can shoot after this. I'll shoot you all my contact info too. And then also, if you, I wanted to give 10% off to all your listeners or whatnot. If they wanted to go to archiesupply.com and enter the code SMILE, SMILE, that'll get them $10 off of whatever their next purchase might be. So, yeah, check me out.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.